Okay, so this one is Dysthymia personality disorder, or persistent depressive disorder. And I'd not looked this one up at all or heard of it. I've only just found out it's also known as persistent depressive disorder. So I did just have a little Google on it. The thing I related to, I mean, it's like a lot of things, got the same list as, prone to irritability and outbursts and low mood and the sort of thing that anyone will read and go, yeah, I did that, and that one, all me. Anyone would though. Anyone does. Do you know what I mean? That's like, is it part of the problem? Well, it manifests into a problem, yeah. Like I said in my last one. But the bit that I read, because I wouldn't say I had, I think I misunderstood the persistent. That's what I did. So it's actually sort of ties in with bipolar. So I guess it could be a misdiagnosis. If someone's here, right, and they get periods of low, and then you join them up, you'd get a zigzag. So it'd look like bipolar, because you just think that that's their top bit, but that's actually their normal bit, and they go down and then back up. But what it said was, symptoms don't often go for more than 2 months at a time. And I did think, I do have phases where I'm flying. I've had like sort of certain springs or late summer, certain periods where loads of good shit happens. Do you know what I mean? And again, it's like I had to put it up here, but it's another one where I would agree that it could be a misdiagnosis, not a misdiagnosis, but it could be just presentations of similar symptoms, because there's so much crossover of symptoms. Like, I had a mate a while back and he was convinced I had Asperger's. And we did an online test. It was quite a long one, and I came out 34. And I think it goes up to 45. So 34 was like the upper tier. And I think 28 was the point where it said you should go and talk to a professional about it. And I did. I did talk to a professional about it. I spoke to my current psychiatrist. And he knows where I used to work. And he said, my first thought is, I don't know how you could work somewhere like that if you had Asperger's, because there's often a real inability to empathise. And I agreed with him that I'd always been like an empath. I'd always felt other people's feelings. But I think if there's any similarity to Asperger's, it's like certain things that really make sense to me and really don't make sense to other people. And I feel that someone's been really rude to me when other people, no, they weren't being rude. I was like, no, they were being rude, because and I'm seeing this and other people aren't seeing it the same way. But again, it could just be the ADHD. That could just be the ADHD. It can, it can interfere with test results, but it's just nothing interferes with the test result that fucking much. It's like, even he said it's like they're all bright red as well. It's like, meep, meep, meep. It's like all of them are like, like normal would be here. This is normal. And do you know what, the compulsive? Yeah, I always get that confused with impulsive. I'm massively impulsive. Turbulent. I was surprised that one was low, because I think you described it, but I've not looked up turbulent personality patterns because it was a low one. But that's what normal should be. Everyone should be around about here, like that. So if you look at a trend, it would be along that line there. Look at my fucking trend, baby. Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking off key. And like I said, it's like, it does hand your ass to you on a plate. It has, in a lot of ways, made a lot of things worse. Just getting that. It's kind of like, I've always relied on my intuition to communicate with the world, to interpret the world, a lot of the time. Because like my head has confusions with communication, and it is often like trying to listen to you, and then it starts to process what you're saying, and then it just like sort of suddenly notices that there's a hair on your eyebrow or something, and I start having a dialogue about that. But yeah, I've always communicated on that kind of gut feeling level. But then this has happened, and it's like, yeah, right, by the way, there's something's just happened that means that all of your intuition could actually be your head, because your head manifests massively in your body. Plus, you're actually really way more sensitive to all the things that you always were sensitive to. So now your gut feelings are stronger too. Good luck with that, because we've now proved that you're going to have a lot of trouble getting what people mean, and you'll have a lot of false gut feelings. But your real ones will still be real, and they're going to be stronger. Bye. See you in December. And that's my reality. That's what's happened. It's like, it's in a way pulled me to fucking pieces to make me just think I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. You know, that's why I keep saying to people, I need simple communication. Say what you mean, very just really, correctly and succinctly, or just in a way that's not, don't hint at things and stuff, because like well, do what you like. I can't tell anyone what to do. But a lot of people sort of speak in undercurrents and stuff, and I can misread that shit. And once I get set off, it's not just the kickoff. It's not just the initial, like, rah, or what the fuck, or whatever. It's the hours or days afterwards. Excuse me. It's the hours or days afterwards where there's just, I can't describe it. I don't know what it is. But again, it was in some of the stuff that my mate sent me about BPD. And that was another reason why BPD is in my list of favourites. Because it described it's not only that they do experience emotions at a higher level, in a more intense level, but it's the aftershock. It's what happens afterwards. And that's when you know, get spun into it. You can get spun into a fucking depression about yourself. Just get fed up with this shit fucking happening. That's how you can get depressed about yourself. It's just fucking weary of it. It's fucking weary of it. And especially when you are a manic person and you know how many times you've dragged yourself out of this shit. I have dragged myself out of depression fucking hundreds of times, thousands, millions, billions of times. And I can, but I can't at the moment. And it's like knowing you can do something and it's just not happening. It's I think I might make a scientific video to explain some of this shit, because I think it would not a scientific one, but it would be based on the scientific reasons why a lot of this shit happens. Because to be honest, once I could see that it was like a brain anomaly, it's not like major damage or anything, it still functions, of course it does, but when it's just described that there are certain structures of the brain that didn't develop properly, and that's why they're not communicating with each other, which is why those things are happening, it makes it a lot easier, because it's suddenly no longer an attitude problem and something that I'm supposed to be able to think my way out of. And that makes things a lot easier to accept. And once you accept something, it becomes easier to work on, because that's always my target. Society will always tell me and other people that when you talk about this shit, it's like, you're just using it as an excuse. You just want to hide behind a banner. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. It's no, I don't. I want to find out what the label is. I want to find out what the condition is. I want to find out what I can do about it. And I want to learn to manage it, because that's the thing. You know, pep talks and stuff, they don't cure anything, and they don't even like lessen my symptoms anymore. It's just, you have to kind of look at it as like, let's just don't look at it as a cure. It's learn to manage. This stuff's fucking indelible, a lot of it. It's just like automatic responses to things, and it's way too complex to think your way around in the moment. You just have to learn to manage it, and that's what I'm starting to do, and that's what I'm speaking up about it. And that's just under 9 minutes, so I'm gonna zip my own zippy.